Hey, welcome guys. In this video I'm doing a review of the Samsung Q900R 8K QLED 65-inch TV. Please note that due to YouTube copyright rules, I won't be playing any copyrighted material throughout this video. Starting off with the remote, it's slim and incredibly simple. It's easy to use and comfortable in one hand. It's actually a nice refreshing change to see such a minimal amount of buttons on a remote, but it still does the job well. As for the TV, the body is well designed. I don't know why, but I'm a big fan of the leg stands. They're small, thin, but they do the job just fine. Of course you can wall mount the TV, but more on that later. The bezels are quite small, which is great because this TV is coming in at a whopping $5,500 US. And here in Canada, with our terrible exchange rate, it's coming in at $7,500, so you better get that premium look. Continuing on with the body, it's also rather thin, but there's a catch to this, and we'll dive into it later. The TV is powered by what Samsung calls a quantum processor, but I highly doubt there's any quantum processing being done at all. What really matters is how it performs, and it's smooth as butter. The main interface is referred to as Smart Hub. It's great as it's fast, offers a lightweight experience with a minimalistic but effective interface, which makes it easy for anyone to pick up and use immediately. Some apps come pre-installed, but there's the ability to download additional apps. I couldn't find how much storage is included in the TV for memory, but there is a software cleanup function where you can scrap away unused apps. For connectivity at the physical level, it's done uniquely as there's a single cable connected to the TV. Yep, I mean one cable, no power, nothing else. This was done purposely, so wall mounting it means minimal cables are visible. The wire connects to a box referred to as One Connect box. There are a number of USB ports on the box for you to connect your own content with. In my testing, it's performed amazing with MKV and MP4 content, which supports H.264 and H.265 compression. In addition to that, it connects to network storages including Plex, which does it natively at the box, or you can also download the Plex app if you want to. And with all these features, it means you won't have to really connect another media player to this TV. There are a number of HDMI ports found in the One Connect box, but on port number 4 only is where you have HDMI 2.1. And in a nutshell, what that means is it supports 120Hz refresh rate for 4K content and 60Hz refresh rate for 8K content. Now, ARC technology is supported on HDMI port number 3, so unfortunately you can't use ARC and HDMI 2.1 together, which is really unfortunate. In addition to all this, the One Connect box is rather bulky. I honestly believe that it's used to help process a lot of the features, but integrating it into the TV would have made it rather bulky at the back. This looks rather unattractive as you have this bulky box randomly to the side, defeating the purpose of the single wire clean look. In fact, this box is really never shown in any of the beautiful pictures on Samsung's website, but the box is needed for the TV to work. Like, it's absolutely essential. In regards to other connectivity, you can have a hardwired Ethernet connection, a coax cable as well, optical audio output. It does support Wi-Fi technology, but I'm not sure if it supports Wi-Fi 6 like some of the Galaxy S10 devices that released this year, but I can confirm it does support Wi-Fi 5. It does also support Bluetooth technology, so you can hook up a keyboard and mouse if you want to. In addition to all this, it does support FreeSync technology, which is a good thing for PC gamers. On to what most people care about, and that's picture quality. So what does it mean to own an 8K TV? It's awesome to say I have it, but let's see, what can I watch? Well, there's pictures from a camera, okay. Video is, well, it's extremely scarce, let's put it that way. Unless you're a professional videographer or you're crazy rich and have an 8K camera, 8K content is extremely scarce. In fact, 4K is just becoming the norm in people's homes, even with digital streaming services. In fact, digital cable still isn't even 1080p in a lot of places. It's mostly 720p or 1080i. More of that explained in another video. There's also one major concerning thing. Using a digital microscope on the screen, I noticed that the picture is a tad bit fuzzy. Zooming out significantly, I can still notice some mosquito net pattern appearing with true 8K pictures, making me wonder if Samsung might have jumped the gun with 8K TVs, as they seem to need a bit more polishing up still. Nonetheless, I will say this, that the picture quality is absolutely stunning. Now, it does support HDR10+, but it does not support Dolby Vision. Despite those minor little negative points and a couple more coming up, this is still one of the best TVs you can get in the market. Like, absolutely no doubt about it. But another thing to keep in mind is that 8K at this screen size, which I have at 65 inches, which is pretty large, is absolutely useless. Like there's actually a scientific reason for it, and I explain it in a separate video why. And it explains why having a 4K TV at the same screen size, you will notice almost no difference. Now the color pop on the TV is exaggerated a bit as you would find on Samsung cell phones. Now on the TV, the color pop is great to look at, and it does help demonstrate the beautiful picture you can see, but doesn't portray the true colors the director of film might have wanted you to see, which means quite a bit of color calibrating is required. As I mentioned, it is one of the best looking TVs you can get in the market, and also one of the brightest, which is great if you have too much sunlight coming into your room and the light reflects onto your TV. Where it struggles a bit is actually dark content, just like other LCD and LED TVs. If a TV or movie scene is too dark and there's a flame or a lamp in the scene, for example, you'll notice some light blooming effect happening around that light source within the picture you're watching, which kind of takes away from the picture quality. So Samsung advertises heavily that this does a great job of upscaling content to 8K. However, it works horrible and almost non-existent. So 4K content looks amazing and stunning. 8K content, the one that I could test, looked phenomenal. But 720p and 1080p content looked horrible. Like it looks worse than my old 1080p TV, and I don't know why. I think the upscaling engine is trying to fix it, make it look better. It actually makes it look worse. So something really important to keep in mind. And that only seems to happen on files that I put on a USB stick or from my Plex server, so your home videos will look worse on this TV. Remember the stands of the TV that I mentioned earlier? Well, unfortunately, those aren't designed to swivel the display. But that won't really matter as the viewing angles are amazing. You can be pretty much any spot of your room and still enjoy the content just fine. Samsung did a phenomenal job. In terms of refresh rate, Samsung advertises it having as clear motion 240Hz. The rule of thumb is ignore Samsung's marketing mumbo jumbo and divide it in half. So it's about 120Hz refresh rate. And it looks phenomenal. Actually one of the best I've ever seen on any TV. It makes action movies and sports look phenomenal. Absolutely well done by Samsung. And I want to take this moment to apologize to Tom Cruise and the rest of Hollywood that, records their movies in choppy, slow 24 frames a second. Thanks to Samsung for picking up the slack on it, especially on this TV display, and making the picture much smoother and more realistic looking. For speaker power, it's advertised as having a whopping 60 watts. For those of you that don't know, that's a huge number for a TV this thin. Let's take a volume test at 50% from about 15 feet away. In the entire movie, the pop effect is just very marginal, or didn't exist at all the entire, 2-hour movie, which is, leaves a bad aftertaste in your mouth. The sound output is phenomenal. If you blew your budget on this TV and can't afford a soundbar or a sound system, you'll be more than just fine. Since many people are becoming more environmentally conscious, which they should be, I'd like to point out that the power consumption can get pretty high, maxing out 307 watts. While off, in standby mode, it consumes just 0.5 watts. Although there is a power saving mode available within the TV, but this kind of means reducing picture quality. Initial setup was a breeze to go through, and I was pleasantly surprised to notice that it connects with Samsung SmartThings technology, basically allowing you to access pretty much all your smart home devices that you have connected to your SmartThings hub, which is sold separately. More on that device in a separate review video. In this great example, I'm able to look at my Samsung Smart Fridge and see what's inside the fridge itself, which in this example is pretty useless, but still nice to have. Speaking of smart capabilities, the AI assistant built into this, Bixby, is not smart at all. It performs poorly just like you would find on Samsung smartphones, but for the sake of this review and going in depth, let's quickly do a demonstration. So one of the interesting things about this TV is that Samsung recently pushed out an update that gave me free IPTV channels, as you can see, such as CBC TV, which is fantastic. Unfortunately, this update broke voice playback of the Bixby AI assistant. I've been testing this TV for several months, and in the video I have, you can find a link to it in my channel, in which I compare this 8K TV to an LG OLED 4K. It used to work just fine, so Samsung broke voice playback. Just another poor example of how this AI assistant manages. However, let's just test it anyway for the sake of testing, because I like to get into thorough details for you guys. What is the weather today? Okay, so as you can see, it still shows back the text, but it won't speak to me anymore. And just to show you guys, volume is at 28, which is rather high, so it's just a Bixby issue. What is the time in Seoul, Korea? How old is Harrison Ford? 77, okay. Divide 16 by 4. Okay. What's 12 divided by 3? So as you can see, it's able to understand what I'm saying. It just don't know how to answer that. Convert 8 ounces to milliliters. Overall, as you guys can see, it's just a poor AI assistant. There's a lot more better ones out there. So just to prove to you guys that there's actually a problem with the update that broke voice playback, let's do this. Bixby settings. So working here in the Bixby settings, it does work, the voice playback, but not in actual use right now.
Hi, my name is Bixby.
What's interesting that while I've had this TV for a couple of months, is that during that time Samsung changed their website to now display that this TV is compatible with Google Assistant and Amazon. But it doesn't work natively in the TV. There's no apps available. It's just compatible with those smart services. So basically you can use those AI assistants to turn the TV on and off, change the channel, volume control, stuff like that. Unfortunately, absolutely nowhere in the TV, including the e-manual, as well as online, is there any instructions on how to accomplish this. It's like nowhere. Only after digging deep and finding on some Reddit forums that you have to have a Samsung SmartThings hub in order to accomplish this, which again is sold separately. And even then, the instructions everywhere on the internet, including Samsung's website on how to connect Google Assistant with Samsung SmartThings hub, doesn't work. So don't expect to have those AI assistants work well with this TV. Now the TV is meant to be the centerpiece of your sitting area. I mean, it is a beautiful display with minimal bezel sizes, and for that Samsung wants it to keep working even when it's not playing a video. It does this by using ambient mode. And there's 4 different primary methods to accomplish this. One is to have like a wall pattern and color resting on the display, so it looks like part of your wallpaper, for example, or some sort of art display. You can have linear dots, which combination of colors. Mono matte, which turns your photos into works of art, and finally light grid, which displays a light pattern to give it off a very light ambient lighting. Ambient mode is absolutely unnecessary, but it's a great thing that Samsung included it. Considering how crisp and sharp the display is, it's a nice to have feature when you don't want to play something on the TV, you just want to have some nice background, soft noises and music, as well as some ambient, display. So if you're like me, if you have a Samsung Android device, you can actually mirror your cell phone to the TV. In fact, a lot of people might not be aware of this, but you actually have the ability to do the opposite. You can actually cast what's on your TV to your cell phone as well as volume, so watching full TV on your cell phone anywhere within your home Wi-Fi network. Look, it's no secret that Samsung makes some of the best cell phone and TV displays, but this is really overpriced. There's almost no 8K content available. In fact, most digital cable in the US and Canada is still in 720p, believe it or not. HDMI 2.1 resides on one HDMI port, but ARC resides on another, so they're split, that they're not available on the same port, which is weird. There's no Dolby Vision available, but there is HDR10+, which is good, but there's just some weird minor trade-offs here. But that's pretty much it for me, and thanks to Samsung pushing it to the mass market, we're bound to see more 8K displays from other manufacturers, and that's pretty much a wrap. So I hope you guys found this video useful. If you did, be sure to check out my social links in the description. Hit that like button, it does help. Subscribe, and thanks for watching.